If you are spending at least $10,000 per month on Google Ads and you are not convinced that you should be investing in branded search, I'm going to be breaking down my top 3 reasons why you should definitely consider branded search at this ad spend level. Because it's definitely an area where you could be missing out on quite a bit of really strong opportunities and leads ultimately because you are lacking this coverage. Now, let me back things up and explain what exactly is brand, if in case you're wondering what's branded search. Branded search is bidding on keywords that are your brand related to your brand. So let's say you're Toyota, you'd be bidding on Toyota, Toyota Camry, Toyota RAV4, Toyota Prius. Those are all Toyota branded terms. So think about that as you are building out your potential brand campaign. These are all terms that technically are related to your own company. So let's take you through the reasons. The first reason is brand protection. What does this mean? Brand protection is basically protecting your brand from other competing brands that are potentially conquesting on your brand name. So let's say that you are Toyota and Hyundai might want to swoop in and capture some share of your branded search, your branded terms. So Hyundai can bid on Toyota in order to appear at the top when someone's looking for Toyota to change the user's consideration. And by having that brand protection, you are staying at the top of mind if and when competitors are intentionally or unintentionally trying to capture some of that impression share on the search engine results page. Now, when I say unintentionally, you might be wondering, well, what does that mean? If competitors are using phrase match and broad match these days, it's very likely that Google is going to match them up to competitors. So even though Hyundai may not necessarily want to conquest on Toyota, if they're using phrase match or broad match keywords, then that could potentially open them up to be bidding on competitor terms. By having a branded campaign in there, Toyota would be able to protect their brand from another brand trying to swoop in and capture some of that impression share. The next reason that I would recommend you invest in brand is to reinforce credibility. What does this mean? Reinforcing credibility has to do with users not always, or most of the time, not converting off of the first click. You cannot assume that someone that's coming from an ad is going to see exactly what they want and click and convert. Usually that happens more in emergency-based services, but if you are not in an emergency-based service, then this is very critical because people are going to do their research. They're going to go to your landing page. They're going to go to your Google My Business profile and read the reviews. They're going to go to your Facebook, your Instagram, and look at your digital real estate. And then on top of that, they're probably even going to be looking at your competitors. So by bidding on brand, you are reinforcing credibility. So if someone is searching, they came in through a non-branded search, and then later they remember your brand name after doing all this research, and then they type in your brand name again, then you have the opportunity to appear when they are looking for you. So that reason ties into brand protection because you're reinforcing that credibility, trust signals, and basically having your brand appear when someone's looking for you, even after they've come in and visited your landing page or website in the past. Something else that I want to mention here, and it's just a super easy argument, it is generally cheaper. CPCs versus your non-branded searches. So why not? These are typically your own keywords because they're part of your brand. You tend to have higher quality scores because everything is relevant to your own brand. And generally, there are cheaper CPCs. So why not have a branded campaign in order to capture as much share of the market of people that are potentially looking for your brand? So that's what I would say in terms of what you should consider. I mean, at this point, to me, it's a no-brainer. You shouldn't invest all of your budget in brand. Now, I do have a video on how I would allocate brand as a part of a $10,000 per month strategy, and how I would allocate the budget between brand and some other type of strategic campaigns in order to maximize my lead volume. But brand should definitely be part of your strategy, especially if it takes users more than one time to actually, more than one visit to actually convert. Now, the argument for why someone might not want to do brand and when brand investment is less critical, I have three here. So one is an urgent service. So let's say you are a plumber, a locksmith, some type of water restoration. People don't necessarily care so much about brand, and usually these types of searches are sucked up by local service ads anyway. But if you are in that type of business, then it's not as critical. But I would still say that if you have a lot of Google reviews and you potentially are would like to see how it would impact you if you have brand and see how people would convert on that, I would definitely recommend you add that as a part of your approach. On top of that, if you've got a short sales cycle, low competition, anything that meets this criteria, usually what I see is locksmiths. This is a great example. It's an urgent service, short sales cycle, because they need someone to come like within 20 minutes or an hour in order to unlock a car or to make a car key. But for low competition, that's where things get a little bit iffy, because like locksmiths is not necessarily low competition. It depends on the market. But this is what I would say is something that you want to look at and might want to just think about if you fall into these criteria, if your brand investment your brand investment is less critical if you fall into these specific criteria. For generally, I do recommend brand. I think that it's just something that you should have. Any strategic business owner or CEO should know that usually people are going to be searching more than once, and the user journey is not linear. And it's not going to be as a simple, I'm going to call you and I'm going to buy from you, or I'm going to call you or I'm going to submit a form and I'm going to go with you. A lot of times there's going to be a need to reinforce your brand in order for people to engage and become an actual lead. So with that being said, I wanted to leave you with that. I'll also link you guys to the video on how I would allocate $10,000 per month ad budget on Google Ads below if you would like to check that out. And if you found this video helpful, I would love it if you can give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and if you are looking for managed services or an audit and you're spending at least $10,000 per month, I would love the opportunity to have a discussion with you and see how I could potentially help you. And I will leave you with that. Thank you very much.